Happy Monday. Happy Monday. All right.
So I'm not going to lie. I was definitely opened up the Zoom room and I'm sitting there for a solid 2 minutes. And I'm like, why is nobody joining?
I did the exact same thing.
Never clicked start webinar.
Oh, well, I was in the wrong room sitting by myself in it for a couple minutes. And I'm going, where's Puma? Well, I guess I'll just start talking.
We're off to a fantastic start this morning. Happy Monday. We are both really executing well this morning.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited about this week, man. I really am, for a lot of reasons. And just great ones. I mean, we got a lot of big things happening. We've got the 5-week Big Ass Smile Mastermind starting this morning. And Craig and I were just talking about that, talking this morning. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that. And I really hope all of you are joining, because this is gonna be not for the faint of heart. This is going to be taking advantage of the opportunities that we have in front of us right now for the next 5 weeks. It's riding into the holidays on a high note. It's really the name of the game, because I think.
So remind people what that challenge is and how that's going to work over the next 5 weeks.
So here's what it's going to be. I looked at the calendar and realized we have 5 weeks before legitimate screwing off occurs, right? And the reality of it is this came about because the whole industry is in deep trouble, right? With an asterisk, right? Or I should say a lot of agents are in trouble with an asterisk, because the whole game has changed, right? The whole real estate game is different than it was last quarter and the quarter before, and certainly the year before. And it is continuing to change in an economic environment that most people have never seen, with consumer thought processes that we've never had to experience before, objections in their minds that we don't know how to overcome because they've never seen them before, right? So there's a lot of doubt, fear, anxiety, media pressures, economic pressures, global, I mean, everything in the planet that could be working against us is working against us. So the biggest powerful thing we have in our world right now is our drunk monkey, and he's loving this time of the world, right? This is like the drunk monkey's favorite time in the history of the planet, because every excuse in the world is there. You want to talk about the recession? There you go. You want to talk about high interest rates? There you go. Want to talk about people aren't really wanting to buy? There you go. People aren't wanting to sell? Yeah. Why don't you throw a nuclear war into the mix? Why not? There you go. World War III, here you go. Right? Every excuse in the planet is sitting there to be able to be grabbed onto and legitimize the fact that you're not going to do what you know you need to be doing. So that was the catalyst for the mastermind to begin. So what we're doing is every week for the next 5 weeks, between now and December 16th, we're going to meet right after our class here. This is just going to roll into the next class, and it's going to be from 9:30 to 10:30 every Monday. We're going to go through what's going on. We're going to set some real goals. We're going to come up with exactly what's our superpower and what we're going to commit to going all in full throttle on for between now and December 16th. And then we're going to come up with some accountability goals and hits and contacts and connections that we are all going to commit to doing. And then we're going to not just stop there. We're going to meet again on Friday mornings after our other meetings at 10:30. We're going to hard stop at 10:30 on those. And then we're going to jump into a recap of the week. And so everybody who's on the Monday call is going to come back in on the Friday call, and we're going to celebrate successes, and we're going to learn from the screw ups that happened along the way too. We're going to see what didn't work.'re going to find out who screwed up what, right? We're going to learn from it. We're going to find out what did work, and we're going to regroup, and we're going to meet again Monday. And then we're going to meet again Friday, Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday. And then we're going to end December 16th with a lot more production than we have right now. And we're going to have a lot more pendings. We're all going to have cash earned, right? And pending to roll into the holidays with a big ass smile on our face. That's why it's called the Big Ass Smile Mastermind. And then we're going to be starting 2023 ahead of the game with inventory and a pipeline. So we're going to be getting a head start on the next year. So that's the overview on that one.
I love it. Well, if you're serious about finishing this year strong, starting off next year strong, I highly suggest diving in. But as Jeff said, I mean, this isn't a it's not a hand holding event. It's not a hug you and it's okay, it's going to be okay kind of thing. This is a in your face, let's go get it, no excuse kind of thing. So
Right.
if you're interested in that, you better dive in at 9:30 starting today.
That's right. So that's our ad for the next 30, the next 30 class.
That's right.
So, but in the email last night, this market's no joke. And I'm not gonna, we cannot, as your business partners, let you not see the headwinds that we're facing right now, right? To just say, oh, everything's gonna be all right, interest rates will come back down in a little while. They're probably not in the immediate term, right? They're probably not.
Nope.
So maybe they will, but I don't know. You don't know. I don't control the Fed. I'm not the person that controls the person that controls the Fed. So only that person really knows what's going to happen in the next 60, 90 days or 6 months. But all I do know is that this real estate market is tough right now. It is difficult right now. It is such an opportunity right now to capture amazing market share and wealth though. And that's the angle we're going on right now, because there's going to be two paths. There's going to be agents that walk off a cliff, lose their license, forget about their license, and they leave and they're gone and they poofed out and they're this is tough, right? It's just, I don't really think I wanted to go work this hard. I thought real estate was easier, and screw you, I'm out of here. There's one path, and there's a lot of people on that path.
Majority.
A lot, right? And then there's the other path, which we're all on. That's going to say, well, maybe I shouldn't say we, all of us are on. Most of us are on. Some of you will be pushed over the other path as a result of you not wanting to do the work that's required to stay in business, right? Over the next couple of quarters. So that's kind of what we're doing. It's no joke. This is no joke. This is a wake up call to get to work, because never before has there been. Here's the fun part about this. The dichotomies, the dynamics in this marketplace are ridiculous right now, because the market's hard, agents are leaving. Therefore, the agents that stay will make more money. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And the ones that stay will make a lot more money right now because we're into fourth quarter. And there's people already making their Thanksgiving freaking dressing right now. There's people
My
already.
house is decorated for Christmas.
There you go. I won't lie. I pulled out the Christmas boxes this weekend myself, right? And there's bells hanging from my front lights on my house.
Yep.
It's not good. It's not good.
But it is good. I mean, so here's my take on this though, right? Is I love to watch the cycle because it's so predictable, right? Like everything comes and goes. Over the last 12, 18, 24 months, one of the hardest segments to go after was for sale by owners, right? Because they didn't need us. Didn't need you at all. They could put their sign I say that now, granted, they still should have used an agent, but in their minds, and the market kind of proved them to be correct, they didn't need you to sell their house. Now, should they have had you guiding them through the contract process and helping them figure out which of the 72 offers they got was the best one? Yes, they should have. But for the most part, they could stick a sign in the yard. They were going to get a ton of interest because the market was so crazy. And from that perspective, they didn't need an agent. Now, here we are just a few months later, and guess, in my opinion, what's the strongest market to be going after is for sale by owners. And I think the point I'm trying to make is there's always an angle in every market that works and is the most effective way to go during that time period, right? Over the last 18 to 24 months, it was by far, you get a listing, you're going to make a lot of money really fast. You have a cash buyer, you're in a better spot than somebody who's got finance because you had to be able to move. And that was the key. And that's what was most effective. Now we're in a spot where, yes, there are every market factor that could be against somebody buying or selling real estate is some form of existence. But that means that anyone that is saying well, I still need to buy, or I still need to sell, and I'm going to put this sign and try and sell it myself in this market with all of those market conditions, for the most part, is not someone who's just testing the market, because they wouldn't do that with every market factor going against them. That is somebody who truly needs to sell. Either they can't afford their house anymore, they want to downsize, they're moving to Colorado, like whatever it is, there is something happening in their life that is forcing that move. Now, that means that that's who the most effective market is right now. So now we got to go take advantage of that. And so there's always an angle. The thing is that I see that most agents get hung up on is you got romantic about whatever got you to where you are right now. And if that's not necessarily what's going to get you through this next 6, 12, 18 months, and if you try and force it to be, you're going to be one of those people that's out looking for a job, or is just going to take the next year to 2 years off because you're not willing to change with the market.
And you're right on that one. I mean, the market was that a pretty picture on Instagram of you eating some popcorn and a couch was enough to get you a listing appointment, right? Because they were going to do it anyway, and they might as well use you because they liked you. That was it. And that's still the case. It's just fewer people are going to do it anyway right now, because there's no real reason to be moving in most people's minds. Although this is by far the best time to buy, better than it was before, which we'll go into that later. But it's the discussions. I mean, I look at everything's a micro market. I look at my neighborhood because I'm very focused on my neighborhood, and there are some real estate transactions going in my neighborhood right now. But here's what they are, right? 2 guys died. That forces a real estate transaction, right? It is. Someone's pregnant and in a very small house with 2 kids already, and the family needs more room. They don't want to move. They hate the fact they have to move right now. They didn't know what was happening, and now they absolutely need more room. So they're going to be moving. Other one I saw this weekend, someone's mom passed. House is coming on the market. Other one that I just bought, somebody died. It's a short sale, estate situation. This is the market that we're in right now. Okay. This is real estate that's going to happen organically, right? This is organic, natural real estate. And that's what we need to just scream from the rooftops to all of us at ourselves, to say the only people that are going to transact right now are those that have to transact right now. Right? We can argue till we're blue in the face that Mike should not be living where he's living, and he'd make a lot more money in another house that appreciates better. And he knows that, right? But he knows it, but he's not going to. That's not worth it. This is not the market to try this in right now. This is his neighbor's getting divorced and there's a court order to sell the house. That's the market that we're in right now. So we have to just 5 weeks, right? We'll be getting that in the next class. But for the next 5 weeks, this market will not change. Okay. Between now and the end of the year, the market that we're in will be the market that we're in. It is what it is. Okay? We're not going to have significant Fed changes. We're not going to have significant supply and demand changes. We're not going to have significant anything changes. It is going to be what it is, which means there's going to be 25% at least fewer transactions this quarter than there were last Q4. Fact, right? At least 25% fewer, which means 25% fewer people are going to get checks. And that's just the way it's going to be. So now, knowing that a lot of people made a lot of money over the last year or two, a lot of people have given themselves permission to take off for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And that's okay. That's okay. You've deserved that. You earned that right. Should that be your decision to go do that? Know that there's consequences to that decision, because you're not just taking off this week, this month, and next month. You're taking off the month or 2 after that. So you're going to have 4 months of no business, because the way that this industry works.
And you're going to miss the window of opportunity where a lot of brand and mind share can be won, right? For those of you that are playing the social and the marketing game, this is like the dream, right? This next 5 weeks, because even if you're going to not necessarily have somebody that maybe will transact in the next 5 weeks, what does everyone do during these next 5 weeks through Christmas? What do? They typically have less going on at work. They're typically spending more time off, thinking about things, spending more time in their home. Look at what happened during COVID. A lot of people got stuck in their homes for a long period of time, right? Made them start to realize that maybe their house wasn't exactly what they wanted. Maybe it didn't suit their needs. Maybe there was better options. It gave them time to think. And when people have time to think and start assessing, and they're not worrying about everything else going on in their life, all of a sudden they start making pretty big decisions. On top of that, you have New Year's coming up, and what's everyone starts to think of a new year, fresh start. What do I want to have happen? And I don't know about you, but I would want to be part of that mindset and that mind share as we go through that period. When they're thinking about those things, I want to be part of that dream, right? And so that's going to result in your first quarter next year being really, really strong. But if you decide to take these next 5 weeks off, which Jeff's right, it's understandable. You guys have worked extremely hard and put in a lot of hours over the last couple of years, no question. So maybe you do take it off. Just know that you're not only going to affect the next 5 weeks, you're going to affect the first quarter of next year, because you're missing out. And the agents that are super consistent, that are constantly trying to win mind share over the next 5 weeks, you're going to put yourself in a really good position to do that and be really, really strong heading into the first quarter of next year.
Now, I'm going to jump in from the other side of this one and say that you cannot take any time off right now, because it's irresponsible to do that. And let me go through this. What we're sitting in right now is a once in a lifetime moment that we're in right now. We are coming off a virus that spread across the entire planet, right? Which shut down the world, shut down supply chain, right? Created inflation, created gas and energy crisis shortages, right? That's what we're into. Kai wasn't feeling well, so I had to go get some children's Motrin stuff. There's a run on that. I had no idea. I went to the CVS and said, hey, where's the kids' medicine stuff? They go, wow. What do you mean you're out? Global supply shortage. People are flying in from Canada to grab all the children's Tylenol and Motrins and hoarding it in their duffel bags and going back over the border, because they will receive none over the next couple of quarters because there's a supply chain glitch in the process. I mean, these things aren't normal that we're going through. So we have a response to that, which is to drop interest rates to almost nothing to help the economy hang on and help people get back to work or do something while the world sorted itself out. And then everything went too fast, too crazy. Interest rates went crazy up high, too high, right? Which put the brakes on everything. Now you can't recreate this. I hope to God we can't recreate this situation 10 years from now. But where are we? We're in this situation here in limbo, where what happens now when you've raised rates too high and you have pent up demand and a messed up supply chain and a ton of people that are kicking themselves in the ass for not selling their house 6 months ago when they could have for 100 grand over list price with 82 offers, right? There's a lot of people that are saying, I told you, honey, we should have, right? Tell me that conversation is not happening around right now. How about
100%?
Right? How many people are saying, God, I wish we would have bought that beach house when it was 3% interest? It would have been dumb not to. Why didn't we? Man, oh man, oh man, we should have, would have, could have. There's so many shoulda, woulda, couldas going on right now, sitting around. And to your point, they're thinking. And then what's going to happen when rates go from 7.5 down to 4.5? What's going to happen? It's human nature. People are going to pounce and they're going to do what they wish they would have done. And it's going to create another little frenzy.
Yep.
However, that's a party, right? We always talk about, you're going to miss the party. Party's coming to an end. You better enjoy the party. It's not going to last. Last call. Remember all those meetings we were having about when the market was doing what it was doing? Mm-hmm. So right now, it's time to set up for the party, right? The save the date's out there. And it's time to do the prepping. It's time to do the planning. It's time to do the inventory preparation. because I 100% believe that this Fed is going to have no choice but to pivot their direction, not just slow, pivot, like drop half points, drop a point, do something to get everybody back on track, because it is not pretty what we're going into economically over this quarter, right? When the Q4 results come in, you and I talk about this a lot. It's going to be disastrous, disastrous. And they're going to have the economy, the Fed, the global economy. It's not just here. This is globally. Everyone's going to say, oh my God, what are we going to do? We have to stimulate. We got to get people making shit. We got to make people doing things, building things, going. We got to put people to work. What are we going to do? We can't afford to just print money and just give it to everybody. Drop the rates, quick, drop the rates. Rates are going to drop. Everyone's going to start buying shit. It's going to come back. But you're going to either be in the party or you're going to be outside of the party. You're not going to be even invited in the party, because it's going to happen like this, right? So that's the other point of why we're doing the 5-week mastermind, big ass smile mastermind, is to get you prepped and ready for the party that's coming, right, in the beginning of next year. You have to, but you got to get ready. You got to get your systems on point. You got to get your business on point. You got to get your dreams on point. You got to get your mindset right. You got to get your lane picked. You got to get your skill set. You got to understand your systems so you're ready to go.
Well, and that's the other thing too, right? Is if your business is a little slower right now, as you're prospecting, make sure we're doing it the most effective way. Have you taken the DISC course, right? Now's the time to like get really, really sharp, right? You know, iron sharpens iron. Go out and get sharp on everything. If you are struggling on scripts, go learn your scripts. If you are struggling on DISC and VAK, go take the DISC and VAK training. If you need prospecting tips, go take the prospecting courses, right? If you're trying to understand our listing process better, go take the listing course. Buyer process, take the buyer course. These things are there for you. We didn't do these courses because we just thought it'd be fun one day to do these courses, right? This is Jeff and Craig and the leadership team taking 30 years plus of experience and giving you what they know works, right? Keep in mind, we're your business partner. We make money when you do. So we're never, ever, ever in the history of the world going to give you advice that we truly don't believe is going to help you grow your business, because at the end of the day, we're a business. We like to make money too, right? So everything that we're telling you will work, but you have to actually engage in it. So now is the time that maybe you were running ragged. Maybe you didn't get a chance to watch and join in on a lot of these 8:30 sessions. Maybe you didn't get a chance to go back and watch the replays. Maybe you didn't get a chance to go take some of the courses that live in the next level, right? In our training modules. Now's the time to do that. So you have more free time, great, use it. Don't waste it. Now's the time. And while you're doing those things, there's no better way to practice than go execute, right? So take the class, go and do it. Take the class, go and do it, right? Like actually put it to work. It's not enough just to go take the training and then be like, oh, now I know how to use Remind. Great, actually go use Remind. Oh, that was a really good tip on how to prospect for sale by owners. Great, now actually reach out to some for sale by owners. So take what we're teaching you and go and use it, right? Just knowing how to use it isn't going to work. So, but now's a great time to do that, because things are going to be a little slower. Your phone's probably not ringing as much. You probably don't have as many things pending. You probably don't have as many open houses. Everything's a little slower. So let's use our time wisely, and those resources are there for you.
So let's talk about that for a second. The only reason things are going to be slower is if you allow them to be slower, right? My schedule's still freaking crazy because I make it crazy, right? That's the answer. I could make it not crazy if I wanted to. I make it crazy.
Some of us thrive in chaos.
Right, true, but we're used to it, right? But what's the opportunity? What's the option, right? I've got big ass goals, right? Huge freaking goals. I know you do too. And I know Craig does too. I know most of you do too. I don't take time off when the time to gather is in front of you. This is the time to monumental leaps in market share, like to the point where your competition is going to say, damn, 6 signs up in this neighborhood, I can't even compete. I'm not even going to go in and try, right? That's the market that we have right now to go get right now. And I want you guys to be honest with yourselves. Open up your phone, go hit your banking app, look at your account balances. And if there's not a big ass smile on your face, you're not taking time off right now. Sorry, right? Not going to let you do it. If you've got debt, you're not taking time off right now. No, not the time. This is the time to go on offense to amass cash to pay off all that crap. You have kids, grandkids? Do they have tuitions coming up? You're not taking time off right now. You're not, right? You're just not. Do you have retirement? Do you have investment properties that are paying you cash monthly to support your lifestyle? If the answer is no, you're not taking off right now. No, not happening. You're going to triple down right now. Why would you not? Your competition's sleeping. There's still real estate will transact no matter what, because of the natural market forces of marriages, divorces, babies, death, economies slowing down, layoffs. Guys, are there layoffs all over the place? Yes. People are going to have to live somewhere. They're going to downsize. They're going to sell their house that they're sitting on 200 grand in cash for, stuff the 200 grand in their pocket, and go rent something until they sort their shit out. That's what people do, right? This is when they need you. They're going to stop paying their mortgage payments. Why? Not because they want to, but because they want to make sure their kids' tuition and their food is fixed first, right? And they're going to get on a 30, 60-day late list. And they're going to need some help. And they're going to need our help. But this is not the time to take off anything right now. This is the time to massively get huge leaps, big ass smiles in there. So we're going to be full on you guys. Those of you who want, I mean, be honest with yourself right now. Look at your bank accounts. Really take a big, be honest with yourself. And if it's not where it needs to be, let's go fix that. It's easy. It's simple. All we got to do is make people think about us when they're transacting in real estate. That's it. That's it. And we have so many tools and paths to do it. Whether you're a marketer, whether you're playing the social game, whether you're a networker, whether you're a prospector, right? Whether you're converting leads, which is tougher now because not as many leads, but there's still leads out there. But we got to be good. And then when you get a lead, you can't screw it up. It's so valuable now. It's if we're honest with ourselves, I'm included with this one. We had people call us. We forgot to get back to them, and we just didn't care and never called them back. Why? Because there were 7 more came in the next day, right? It's not the case right now. You get one, you better tell them how pretty they are and that you love them and hug them, right? And tell them to stay with you during the dreaming process, even if it takes 18 months for them to actually buy, because they're few and far between, right? That's the market that we're in right now. Your Moxie presentations, if they're not up and on point, you're not taking any time off right now. You're going to send a message to your manager right now and say, help me with this Moxie. I haven't done shit. I'm sorry. Fix me. That's a fair response today, right? I need to go. I had somebody reach out to me, say, hey, I found this house. How do I find the owner? Thank you for asking the questions. You should know the answer, but thank you for asking the question because you didn't. And I said, go into 21 online, into the Spark program, download Forewarn and open up their freaking phone number, or order Bin Verified or some other skip tracing service to find their freaking phone numbers. Go make some calls, right? This is the time to get your head out of the sand and say, all right, let's go, right? And it starts back with the goals. It comes back to what puts a big ass smile. When you just looked at your bank account, right? What do you want that to look like? Guys, we make 10 grand every time we sell something. Come on, that's not hard. How many times 10s do you need to make you breathe a little easier and put a big ass smile on your face? That's it. That's all we're talking about. And then go back through, and the training classes are all. Now, Mike, what did we do? Let's talk about the and we have different training platforms there.
We do. So understand, right? Under the Beggins family, we have our new cloud-based model, right? BE3, which has agents remote, and they're all over Florida and Orlando and Miami and South Florida and all over the place, starting to go into North Florida. They have a little bit of a different system, right? So what happened now is if you go to begginsagents.com, for those of you that were used to going there and finding some stuff, we've changed it where when you go there, you're going to have two options. If you are with BE3, you're going to click that button that says click here if you're a BE3 agent, and that's going to take you into the BE3 training system. And if you click the Beggins, if you're a Beggins agent and you click that, it's going to take you into Beggins teachable site. Both systems share much of the same content. There's just a couple differences with agents being more remote and you local agents having access to offices. That makes things a little bit different in some ways. So we have two slightly different systems for each one, but go there. And the point of is in both of those, you're going to find all of the greatest training. And again, actual training is essentially the same across both platforms. So no matter what model you're in with us or where you're located, you're getting the same advice. Go in, take those trainings, take the script classes, you're going to see it all organized in a smart way. Go take those classes that you want to take and get better, right? Just get better. Every day I wake up and I want to be better than I was the day before. Now, it doesn't always happen, but that's my goal when I wake up in the morning. And that needs to be all of our goal. And the training that's in there is phenomenal. Go take it.
Let's prioritize those trainings from my perspective right now. All right.
Sure.
We're in the people and communications business. That's it. We just happen to play in the real estate pond, but we are in the people and communications business. We're influencers. We create trust, right? That's our whole job. We joke about this a lot, but we make nothing. We do nothing with our hands. We build nothing. We talk, we speak for a living. That's what we do. We ask questions for a living.
Yep.
That's how we get paid, right? That's it. Mm-hmm. Now, the caliber and the level of your communications determines the level of income you receive, period. That's just what we do. So my priority list for you right now is when you do have an opportunity to speak with somebody, let's galvanize that trust instantly, right? Instantly, because people like people who are what?
Like themselves.
Like themselves. That's who they trust. They trust themselves more than anybody. You trust yourself more than anybody in the world. More than anybody in the world. You got a close group around you that you also trust, but not as much as you trust yourself, right? That's just a simple fact of life. You're who keeps you alive. That's the ultimate of trust, okay? So people like people who are like themselves because they could trust you. That's it. That's it. End of class, okay? Now, how do you do that? That's why the classes go so in depth into recognizing from the moment they pull into the driveway of the Starbucks to meet you for a coffee, right? Or the moment they pull into an open house, or the second they say hello to you, the handshake, the eye contact, just their clothes, their style of dress, their attire, their jewelry, right? All of those social cues give you the clues on what kind of person you're about to deal with. Are they a D personality? Are they the driver type? Are they the I's? Are they the S personalities? Are they the C personalities? Your whole presentation is going to change if you want to be paid, okay? That's just the way that it is. You've got to go through the process. And if a high C is coming into you're walking into a high C listing presentation, it's a completely different delivery than with the high I listing presentation. Exact same presentation, exact same process, but completely different delivery, okay? That's what I'm talking about right now, because you can blow it so quickly if you're not communicating at that level, right? Now, how deep do you go on this one? How deep do you want to go on this thing? There are submodalities of communication where they're communicating. Are they visually oriented, auditory, kinesthetic? We just talk about the high levels. I'd love to go deeper into the sequences, because people's buying strategies are different than their attraction strategies. And when you talk with them, you can start to realize their visual, kinesthetic, auditory chain, right? So when you start to pay attention, you can say, wait, okay, the way they bought their last house was they want VKA. If I knew that, then maybe I can present this house in VKA, since that's their buying strategy of creating comfort in their own mind. Yes, right? This is how deep we want to go, guys, to the point of connecting and mirror and matching and breathing and blink rates. I mean, we could go so deep together on this thing. That's why it's all
the
about
class does, right? So the DISC VAK class goes into all of this in depth.
Yes.
And so if you're not comfortable with anything that Jeff is talking about now, you need to go take that course. Yes. And so to your point, if we're going to take the training, prioritizing it's important, right? But in order to prioritize the training, we've got to get very clear and be honest about what we at who. So I look at it this way, right? And step number one is, who do I want to talk to? We know that the what is, I've got to talk to people, right? Yes. That's number one. So then the question becomes, okay, great. Who do I want to talk to? And now, once we narrow that down, now we know who we're going after, and we know that we need to talk to them, right? Now the question becomes, what do I say? Well, that's where the script training comes in, right? But in order to focus in on the script, I need to know who am I talking to. So I figure out the who, then I figure out what I'm going to say. Then it's a matter of, okay, now I know who I'm talking to. I know what I'm going to say to them, right? I've learned both of those things. Now it's, okay, great. Now, how am I going to attract more of those people? Well, that becomes the marketing side of it, right? And that training's also in there for each particular niche or lane, whatever you want to call it, that you're going to go down. And then it becomes, okay, great. Now I'm in front of them. Now we're having communication. How am I connecting? And that's the DISC VAK. And so those 4 or 5 buckets are the only things we need to focus on.
Yeah. But
those 4 or 5 buckets are very different if I'm going after an expired listing compared to a for sale by owner, compared to an absentee owner, compared to a renter, who am I talking to? The generality is the same. The concept's the same. I'm talking to people. I need to know what to say. I need to connect. That's the same across all of them. The nuance is, who am I talking to? And so once you figure that niche out for yourself, game over. The training is in there. Follow that training lane. You're golden. If you're willing to put in the time.
And the objections they're going to tell you.
And yes, all the objections are in there. So that when you're sitting across from them and they say, well, Mike, I want to talk to another agent. And you're sitting there going, I don't want you to do that. That's not the response, right? You need to know what to say. That's in there too. If you're struggling with a particular objection, those are in there. Right? All of the objections that sellers and buyers give you, they're in there. Everything's in there. It's all at your disposal. The question is, are you going to go watch it? Do you need to go watch it? And what do you need to go watch? That's it. And you need to decide that. And if you don't know, if you can't figure it out, call me, call Jeff, call your manager. We'll help you figure it out.
That's right. That's right. And this is the game, guys. This becomes a sport, right? I know we go a lot of analogies and everything, but reminder, what's the difference between an amateur and a professional?
You have paid for it.
2 things. The level of practice and the level of paycheck, right? That's it. That's the difference between an amateur and a professional. So this is the quarter where only professionals will get paid. Just that's it. Now you're going to have a few in the waning. My niece Susie got her license and I really need to use her. Those are going to start to fade away. Okay. Susie's going to have to go work a cheesecake factory. She's not going to be able to hang in this industry much longer. Right. So she's going to hang out for another deal or two, then she's gone. So, but the professionals are going to be kicking in. So now everything Mike was just talking about is what are we going after? Which niche are we going after? That's the game. But the end game is the exact same. Because here's what I also need to make sure. You guys, all of us, your system has to be on point completely, right? So when somebody says, you know what, we are thinking about selling, I will interview you. That's your goal, right? That's your win. I do and I will. I do need to sell and I will interview you. You can come over tomorrow at 4:30. That's our whole game that we're selling, guys. That's it. Now, this is where it really gets important. Okay. But this has to be internalized and set on autopilot as far as what are you going to go do, right? What is your listing process, right? That's something I really want you to really, for fun, write it out right now, right? What is your listing process? I know what our listing process is that works, right? And I know you do too. And I want no time for creativity in this type of a market, guys. Be on point with saying, let me in. I'm great. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow at 4:30. Here's how I run my business. This is what we're going to go do. I'm going to come take a look at your house. I'm going to ask you some questions while I'm at your house. I'm going to leave you 11 questions that I want all my sellers to go through. I'm going to email you a cool presentation showing you everything about what we're actually going to be able to do. Right. Then I'm going to call you with a couple of other questions. I'm going to come over to your house. I'm going to make a presentation about positioning and pricing. Right. And then you're either going to hire me or you're not. And I'll see you tomorrow at 4:30. That's it. And then, so that's the listing process. So my question to you is, how on point is your process? Do you know? I mean, if I said just, so I'm going to turn your camera on live right now. I want you to do the listing pre-qualification script to me, and I'm going to randomly pick your name and pick your camera on. How comfortable are you right now? Right? That's the question. If I want you to email, I'm going to share the screen. I want you to pull up your Moxie listing presentation to share with the entire company in 5 seconds. Are you proud to do that? Yes or no? I want to see your pricing presentation. I want to see how you explain your seller's cost estimator. I want to see how you close your presentations and get them to agree on the price that they want to hire us to launch their marketing with, right? How comfortable are you with that? If the answer isn't hell yeah, turn my camera on, then it needs to be, guys. It needs to be, because you're not going to have as many at-bats as you used to be able to have. And then switch gears to the buyer side of the market. You know what? My cousin's moving here from Austin. Great. Now what do? Do you do the same thing every time? Hope so. It needs to be, hey, brother in Austin, I'd like to interview for the job of be your buyer's agent. Let me share with you how I run my business. This is what I do. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Who's your lender? Let's jump our asses on the phone with them. Let's figure out your loan program. Let me ask you a couple questions with a lifestyle profile. Let me explain to you how single agency is in your best interest. Go through our handshake agreement. Go through our lifestyle, right? And then let's get my Zoom room. Let's go look at everything online. Let's look at 100 houses while you're sipping a glass of wine. And then let's narrow it down to 3. Let's go buy it. Right? That's my process. If you like it, great. If you don't, great. That's all right. Guys, simplify, 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 simplify. This is the time to sharpen it up in this one. I mean, I clearly get super passionate about this one, guys, but I know it's right. And I know it will help you. And I know it'll pay off your debt. I know it'll put big ass smiles on your face. I know it'll buy you investment properties. I know it'll pay for your kids' tuitions. I know it'll give you on epic vacations. All of it. Right? When you just let it be. Right? That's just it. We got to get on point with the processes here. Wow. I don't know what else to say.
I don't either. I think we cut it, because in 15 minutes we've got, which I think all 70 plus 75 people that are sitting online live now, I expect you guys to all roll in at 9:30 into what room's that going to be in?
Right here. We're not moving. Right, in fact, I'm fine with this topic being closed because it's an ongoing topic. I would pop up some questions. I'm not going anywhere. My ass will be sitting here for the next hour and 15 minutes. We're going to start with Craig in 15 minutes, but yep. I want your feedback from this morning, and I want questions that popped up out of your minds. Right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Type them in and let's get real on this one.
And there's no stupid questions, guys. If you're confused about something, ask away. Let's do it. I'm in the chat now. Let's see. All right. So Ray asked about the training. I think we got that answered for him. Nothing? There's no questions, huh?
I think we have a lot of internal reflection going on at the moment. We're figuring out what do we do. You guys all, I think this is right. Okay. This is right. And I just want you to be honest with yourselves as far as what you need to focus on right now. That's really it. Do you want to really do this is question number one, right? And if the answer is yes, then are you going to commit to doing it? That's the point.
Where is Century 21 online is Forlorn? So if you just go to, probably the easiest thing is go to 21 online, top search bar, type Spark, and you need to join the Spark network. So there is a cost to that, Madeline. So I don't remember what it is. What is it, Jeff? Like $100 for the year or something? It's not super expensive.
It's less than that.
I think it might even only be $70, something like 72. Someone just said. $72 for the year. That gets you in. Once you enter the Spark website app part of 21 Online, you'll see Forewarn is one of the apps within the Spark network, right? So that's how you get there.
It's a discount workaround. You can go to Forewarn and just buy it. It's just more than $72.
Yeah.
So the way to do it is go in through Century 21 Online through the Spark program. You get other benefits as well, but that's the big one there too.
Exactly. What's a good follow-up strategy for sale by owners you have met to preview their home?
Great question. Great question. Now, for sale by owners, we're talking, we've got a seven follow-ups, right? Do not expect the listing prior to your 7 connections, and understand why. They don't really want to hire us, guys, and that's okay. They really want to try it on their own. They'd like to save that commission. And I applaud that. That's great. That's not dumb. That's smart. You have at it, right? So we're the ones that are here when that just doesn't work, right? Let's just approach it in the right way. So when I'm talking to for sale by owner, I'm going to say, look, I want to be your plan B, right? I'm going to help you. You get an offer, call me up. I'll walk you through it. You have any questions, call me up. I want nothing from you except the opportunity to interview when the time comes that you decide you want to go a different direction, right? Look, that just takes the pressure away. I'm not calling you an idiot for listing your house. I'm not going to tell you how your stuff's going to get stolen. I'm not going to tell you why it's home invasions are at higher risk. I'm not going to, you know, all this stuff. You're not an idiot, right? You're just trying to save some money. So let's align with them first of all, and just check with them every week and say, hey, Mike, how's it going? What's going on? What can I do to help you? Listen, I got some time right now. Let me come over. Let me take a look at your house. Let me give you some advice. Let me preview it from a real estate perspective. Let me give you some tips and tricks. I'll go through what I do with my clients as far as what we need to fix up the home. I'll bring you over what I think it really will sell for. Stuff it in your kitchen drawer. I'm still here when you're ready, and I'm still here to help you while you're going through your process. Right? What's good? I can come over 3:30 or 4. What's better for you? Not this week? No problem. I'll check with you next Wednesday. That's how you do it, right? It's just a real person alignment, right? Is what we're doing with the for sale by owners. They know there's a good shot it's not going to work. They know there's a decent shot it will work, right? And so do you. So let's just be there and guide them through and walk them through and help them along the way. So, and just say, do you want to really want to preview it? The other thing is be sincere and be honest with your approach. Say, I got a buyer, I want to look at your house. If you don't have a buyer, don't tell them you have a buyer, you want to look at their house. Saying, I want to interview for the job to get this thing sold, should what you're doing not work for you. And I do work with a lot of buyers. I'd love to see your home, so if and when I come across somebody, at least I know what yours looks like, right? That's the honest answer. I mean, honesty always works. So that's how I would approach that, is just tell them what you want to say and ask the questions you want to know the answer to, right? Is, I think, one of the best sentences ever. I mean, ask the question you want to know the answer to. Yep. Hey, Mike, what's going to have to happen to cause you guys to make the decision to hire somebody to help you in the next phase? Where are you moving to? What's your time frame? Where are you guys going? Why are you going? Do you even have to sell this home? Could we rent it out for you and you guys keep it? Where are you buying? Have you talked to your lender? Because I don't know if you know this, but if we get a lease on your home and it covers your mortgage payment, that's not going to be a detriment to you moving somewhere else. You might be able to pull an equity line out of here, bank your down payment up in North Carolina, and keep this as a rental property. Have you even thought about that? Right? These are the conversations to show. Now, this is not selfish, because I just talked myself out of a deal should he do what I just said. right? Or did I get a referral up in North Carolina? Who knows? Or did I get enough brownie points of actually caring about him that he tells his neighbor about me, right? Everything just carries on and on and on, right, from that. So just be a good person, help them in every way. That's my answer. It's my long answer to how do you get a preview on a FSBO.
Yeah, I mean, specifically in tactic wise,
Yeah.
I think I would, number one, use the for sale by owner guide, right? So provide them with that. FSBO guide.com. You can download it there. Feel free to customize how you want, and then use that, right? I think that's a great resource to provide. I would always go put their address in realsure.com and see if Realsure is going to make an offer on that property, because if they do, then you truly do have a buyer that will give you a price, right? And that's contingent on you listing the property for 30 to 45 days. And if you get a higher offer during that time, great. If you don't, that offer is still good that they make for you right then and there. So that's an interesting opportunity, right, to present them with that they wouldn't have without you. So I just look at it as, again, it's all value, right? Like Jeff was saying, you have to bring value to them. It can't be a selfish thing. Well, one of the ways to bring value is to offer them things that they may not have access to. They have access to Open Door and OfferPad. They don't have access to Realsure. They have to use you for that. And so that is a tool that you have in your toolbox that they cannot have access to without you. So to not present them with that opportunity, in my opinion, you're doing an injustice for them, right? So I would always use that if that's an option, because they don't buy everywhere. So you want to put that in and see if that address is eligible for Realsure. That would be another thing. And then tactically, just using from a follow-up perspective, videos to them are fantastic, right? I love if they're not answering, if they're not home, if you haven't been able to make contact, shooting a quick video. Hey, Jeff, literally from in front of their house, because their cell phone number is typically on the sign. Shoot them a quick video. Hey, Jeff, I'm a local agent. Listen, I sell a lot of property here. Selfishly, you selling your house for the most amount of money possible would really benefit me, because the last thing I need is a house affecting my other clients and the values of their homes. So if I can help you in any way, please let me know. Be honest with them, right? Whatever it is, then it doesn't have to be that script, but whatever it is, shoot them that video instead of just shooting them a normal text. And I think you'll start to see that those little things will bring value. But to Jeff's point, it might take 7, 8, 10, 12, 30 contacts and attempts and conversations before something happens. So just be consistent with it. And you may get someone to tell you to go screw yourself, but
that's all right.
Part of the deal.
That's all right. That's all right.
Still not a no.
John Evans, do we have a directory? All this stuff is in multiple places. John, we know that, and we're really working on that one. And I think you're going to watch that be cleaned up very quickly, because I know we have it in different spots. So stand by on that one. Focus on expired listings. Do I think this is the best opportunity right now? I think it's yes, right? Yes. Now, here's my thing about expired. I love expireds. I'm personally just heart warmed by expireds, because I've made a shit ton of money off of expireds in my career. And that's a technical term, of course. But here's why. They're the best. FSBOs are tougher because they still don't think there's a value in a listing agent. Fair enough, because they're their own listing agent. So expireds already realize that a listing agent is valuable and the buyer public agent is valuable. They just didn't have the right one, right? So now your pitch is not about we're important, it's that we're the right ones. That's the beautiful thing about expireds, is let me interview for the job. Where are you going? What's your time frame? What's going on? You typed in here, is Realsure good for expireds? Maybe, right? It depends on where they're moving, how urgent is the move, what's their time frame needed for the move, and everything else associated with that move. Because Realsure could take 45 days. So it may be good for some, maybe not good for others. Maybe Home Partners is buying in that marketplace. Maybe you can have an offer for them tonight, right? Now, that's the question. We don't know. There's no this is good for everybody answer ever, because everyone's situation is different. So our job is to be of service and be a true advisor and say, hey, what's going on in your world, Mr. Expired? I know you just popped up as expired. I see you on my system here. I'd love to interview for the job, but before I do, I don't even know if I can help you. Where are you going? What's your time frame? How did you determine your sales price? How did you pick the last agent you picked? What do they do that you like best? What do you think they should have done? How are you going to choose the next agent that you choose? Do these words sound familiar? It's the script, right? It's in all of the training classes. That's the expired listing, but it's important. Those are just the words. What's most important is me understanding, am I communicating with a D, an I, an S, a C? Do I have to have a visual representation, auditory, kinesthetic? Where am I? Who am I dealing with? How am I going to build that trust or connection? I'm not the only agent calling this person. There's probably 24 other people going to aggravate his ass today. I want to be the one that he likes and trust because I'm the most like him, because I've had skill to realize how he communicates, and I communicate the same way that he does. Does that make sense? Long answers today. No yes or no's out of me this morning. That's
it. Nick asked what RealSure is. RealSure is a program. It's actually backed by Home Partners of America, but it is an exclusive Realogy tool. Essentially what it is, they're an iBuyer, but they're an iBuyer with a modification of, instead of giving you an offer roughly on average, it falls in line typically with what I've seen from OfferPad and Open Door. You're going to be about 15 to 20% below typically what true market value probably is. But what they'll do is you'll put in all the information, they're going to submit an offer usually within 24 hours, and they're going to say, hey, based on these things, we believe that the house will pay $250 for it, right? Maybe the house is worth $275, but you have $250. Here's the caveat. Rather than that $250 being good for 4 days, take it or leave it. Instead, they say, now in order to even have an option of taking this $250,000 offer, you've got to list it with Nick for 30 days to 45 days on the open market. If at the end of 30 to 45 days, you have not received a higher offer and you still want to take our $250 offer, we'll guarantee it. It's good. We'll close on the property. If you get a higher offer and you want to take that offer, great. Then Nick, you take that higher offer and you make even more money, and sellers are ecstatic, right? So it's essentially a way though to set the floor. So like I always suggest, any listing that you get that qualifies for it, go get a RealSure offer. It sets the floor. And especially in a slower market, when an agent calls and says, because they're looking for leverage points, and a buyer agent calls and says, hey, do you have any offers on the property? Your immediate answer is, yep, we sure do have an all cash offer. So that sets the tone of, hey, you better come in and stop asking for the entire world, right? So that's how I would leverage the tool. But yeah, it's great for pretty much anything that's not officially on the market. So for sale by owners, expired listings, you could use it for that. Because I know Mike put that in there. So that's how I would use that.
great points.
And best place to find most current scripts for Lane/Superpower. John, I put that in the chat just in case you didn't see it. Again, if you're with Beggins, if you are Century 21 Beggins agent or list with Beggins, which kind of in the same umbrella, you're going to go to c21beggins.teachable.com. The other way to get there, Beggins agents, click on the Beggins agent button, and that will take you to that platform. If you have not created an account, you will need, or not logged into your account, you will need to log in. And then if you are with BE3, you can follow that same path, Beggins agent, click the BE3 button, or you can go to thenextlevelU.com, and that is for BE3 agents, and all of that stuff is in that platform. But those are the two separate platforms, and the scripts are in both.
Love it, love it. Mr. Beggins, join the party here.
Good morning.
I will make you the host, Jeff.
Yeah, you got to make Jeff the host so I can get permissions.
Oh,
you're not allowed to have permissions.
I am not, yes.
I don't need permissions, Mike. I ask for forgiveness.
That's our strategy too.
I've noticed.
All right, gentlemen, I will let you take over. Jeff, you should be host.
Craig's co-host.
Craig should be co-host. All right. You guys have fun.
Are you ditching us now, Mike? All right.
This is your show, man. I'm not taking over your show.